The day he was hired, John Chaika said, I think Craig Berube is a tremendous coach, a Stanley Cup coach. And today, he fired Berube. So what happened to that?
Toronto Maple Leafs may have just exposed a massive problem hiding inside the organization. And fans think this shocking firing has something to do with Auston Matthews himself. 1 minute, Craig Berube was supposed to save the Leafs, and the next, he was out. But the real story might be far bigger than just a coach getting fired. The Toronto Maple
between that and firing a special teams coach mid-season and finishing 28th in the NHL in a very underwhelming season for the Toronto Maple Leafs, all of that had its say in today's firing.
The Toronto Maple Leafs are once again at the center of NHL chaos. And this time, the story is exploding across the hockey world. Fans woke up shocked after the organization officially fired head coach Craig Berube following one of the most disappointing seasons in recent team history. Berube was supposed to be the tough leader who could finally change Toronto's culture and bring playoff success back to one of hockey's biggest franchises. Instead, the entire season collapsed right in front of everyone. When the Maple Leafs hired Berube, fans were excited. This was a coach who had already won a Stanley Cup with the St. Louis Blues. Many people believed his strong coaching style was exactly what Toronto needed. The Leafs were tired of early playoff exits and soft performances in big moments. Berube was brought in to fix all of that. At first, things looked promising. The team had talent, star power, and massive expectations. But slowly, problems started building behind the scenes. As the season continued, injuries began destroying the lineup. The biggest moment came when team captain Auston Matthews suffered a serious knee injury after a controversial play involving Radko Gudas. That injury changed everything. Matthews was not only Toronto's best player, but also the emotional leader of the team. Once he went down, the Leafs started losing confidence fast. The offense struggled, the defense looked terrible, and frustration began spreading across the locker room. Soon, fans started noticing something strange. The Maple Leafs no longer looked like a team fighting together. Players looked frustrated on the bench. Reporters began asking tough questions after games. And online rumors about locker room tension started spreading everywhere. Some fans even believed certain players had stopped believing in Berube's system completely. And now, with the coach gone, the front office changing, and pressure building across Toronto, many people are starting to wonder if this is only the beginning of a much bigger Maple Leafs collapse. After Craig Berube was fired, the reaction across the hockey world was immediate. Maple Leafs fans flooded social media with anger, confusion, and fear about the future of the team. Some fans blamed Berube for the terrible season. Others believed he became the scapegoat for much bigger problems inside the organization. And honestly, that debate is becoming one of the biggest stories in the NHL right now. The pressure in Toronto is unlike almost anywhere else in hockey. Every season, the Maple Leafs enter with huge expectations. Fans do not just want playoff appearances anymore. They want a Stanley Cup. And when the team fails, the spotlight becomes brutal. This season was supposed to be different. Berube was hired to bring toughness, discipline, and playoff mentality. But instead, the season slowly turned into a disaster. One of the biggest problems was the team's defense. Toronto struggled badly in important games, allowing too many goals and making costly mistakes late in matches. Injuries also continued hurting the lineup throughout the season, but many fans believe the biggest issue was confidence. After Auston Matthews got injured, the energy around the team completely changed. Players looked frustrated, nervous, and disconnected. The team that once looked dangerous suddenly looked lost. Now the focus has shifted toward the future of Auston Matthews himself. That is where things become very interesting. Matthews is the face of the franchise. He is one of the NHL's biggest superstars and one of the most important players in Maple Leafs history. So when rumors started spreading that he may not trust the direction of the organization, fans immediately panicked. General Manager John Chaika tried to calm everyone down by strongly denying that Matthews had anything to do with Berube being fired. Chaika even said there was zero involvement from Matthews. But many fans still believe there is more happening behind the scenes than the public knows. In sports, when a superstar player becomes unhappy, organizations often make major changes very quickly. That is why so many people are now watching Toronto closely. At the same time, the Maple Leafs are going through major front office changes. Brad Treliving is gone. Chaika is now leading the organization. Hockey legend Matt Sundin has also joined the front office as an advisor. All of these moves are making fans believe the team could be entering a full rebuild or at least a massive reset. And now comes the biggest question of all. Who will be brave enough to coach the Toronto Maple Leafs next? Because right now, this does not look like a normal coaching change anymore. It looks like one of the most pressure-filled situations in hockey. The fans are angry. The media is watching every move. And if the Maple Leafs fail again next season, the noise around this franchise could become even louder than before, which leaves everyone asking the same thing. Is this really the end of Craig Berube's story in Toronto? Or is this just the beginning of an even bigger Maple Leafs crisis?
There's just a general feeling of dismay and disruption, right? Like, and that's natural because the season was so bad. And now Chris Johnston's got a report in The Athletic today saying that Matthews, I guess as of now, not 100% committed to returning next year. Now, he's got 2 years left on his deal, so the Leafs have a say in this clearly. Correct. But if Matthews ever determines, I want out, then he's getting out. Yeah. It would be an absolute gong show if it went public that he wants out and they didn't trade him.
Something feels very wrong inside the Toronto Maple Leafs organization, and fans are starting to notice it. A few shocking words from Auston Matthews have now turned into massive NHL rumors, emotional fan reactions, and growing fear about the future of one of hockey's biggest superstars. But what's happening behind the scenes may be even bigger than anyone expected. The Toronto Maple Leafs are one of the biggest teams in hockey. They have millions of fans, massive pressure, and one goal every single season to win the Stanley Cup. But instead of celebrating success, the team is now surrounded by fear, rumors, and questions about their biggest superstar, Auston Matthews. Over the last few weeks, NHL fans started noticing something strange. Matthews was no longer giving strong answers about his future with the Maple Leafs. During an interview, he said something that instantly shocked the hockey world. Matthews said, "You can't predict the future." Those words were enough to send Maple Leafs fans into full panic mode. Why? Because Matthews is not just another player. He is the captain of the team. He's the face of the franchise. He is one of the greatest goal scorers in the NHL today. Ever since Toronto selected him first overall in the 2016 NHL draft, fans believed he would bring a Stanley Cup back to the city. But now, many people are wondering if Matthews is slowly losing faith in the organization. This season turned into a disaster for Toronto. The Maple Leafs failed to meet expectations again. The team struggled under pressure, and once the season ended, everything started falling apart very quickly. Reports began coming out about major changes inside the organization. The front office entered chaos, management decisions were questioned, and fans started blaming everyone from coaches to executives to star players. Many NHL insiders and media reports started talking about William Nylander becoming a bigger leader inside the organization. Some fans even believe the Maple Leafs are preparing Nylander to become the future face of the franchise if Matthews ever decides to leave. As the rumors kept spreading, NHL fans started looking closer at Auston Matthews' situation in Toronto. And the more people talked about it, the more pressure started building around the Maple Leafs organization. One big reason for the panic is simple. Toronto has had superstar talent for years, but the team still has not delivered the playoff success fans expected. Every season begins with huge hope, and every season seems to end with disappointment. That frustration has slowly turned into anger across the fan base. What if Matthews no longer believes Toronto can win? That question became even louder after reports connected the Maple Leafs to possible leadership changes inside the locker room. William Nylander's name suddenly started appearing everywhere in NHL discussions. Some analysts said Nylander could become the emotional leader of the team moving forward. Others believe Toronto may already be preparing for a future where Matthews is no longer the center of the franchise. For fans, hearing those ideas felt almost impossible to believe. Matthews has been the heart of the Maple Leafs for years. He won awards, scored huge goals, and became one of the most famous players in hockey. Many fans thought he would spend his entire career in Toronto. But now, even small comments from Matthews are creating massive headlines across sports media. And then the Nashville Predators rumors made everything even crazier. Reports claim Nashville could become a team to watch if Matthews ever became available in the future. That instantly grabbed attention because Nashville has been trying to build a stronger contender, and adding a superstar like Matthews would completely change the league. Fans online immediately started debating possible trade scenarios. Some people said Toronto would never let Matthews go. Others believed the pressure, disappointment, and constant criticism could eventually push him away from the organization. At the same time, many fans defended Matthews. They argued that the Maple Leafs failed to build the right team around him. Some blamed poor roster decisions, others blamed management chaos and constant changes behind the scenes. And after another frustrating season, the pressure inside Toronto only became heavier. Still, there is one very important fact fans must remember. Auston Matthews has not asked for a trade. Right now, everything remains speculation and rumors. Matthews is still under contract, and there has been no official confirmation that he wants to leave Toronto. But in sports, fans know one thing very well. Sometimes the biggest stories begin with small signs, strange interviews, and growing tension behind the scenes. That is exactly why this story has exploded across the NHL world. Because for the first time in years, Maple Leafs fans are seriously asking themselves a question they never wanted to imagine. Could the future of Auston Matthews in Toronto actually be in danger? And if that day ever comes, the entire NHL could change forever.
What's the night the team didn't have Auston?
They played very fast, and we weren't very fast. It was just the opposite. They had a good start. We didn't chase in the game.
Something is seriously wrong inside the Edmonton Oilers, and it's not what you think. After their shocking playoff exit, Connor McDavid didn't explode. He didn't get angry. He didn't even react the way fans expected. Instead, insiders say the team looked completely broken. And what Elliotte Friedman just revealed about that locker room might be the most worrying sign yet. But the real truth gets even
in the intermission
worse.
When
this wasn't just
down,
another.
Well, someone texted me and they said, "Do you think McDavid will ask for a trade if they don't come back tonight?" I was like, "No, I don't think so." And then, like the whole third period, especially when the Ducks scored again to really put it away, the whole third period was like, "Do you think McDavid's going to ask for a trade if they lose this game?" There was a lot of that, and I do not believe we're at that point now. I don't. I think that's his current deal that you're showing right now. He signed a 2-year extension at $12.5 million, so they have him signed for 2 more years. I don't think he's asking for a trade right now.
This wasn't just another playoff loss. This felt different. The Edmonton Oilers were knocked out early, and fans expected the usual reaction. In the past, when this team lost, you could see anger. You could feel the frustration. Players like Connor McDavid and Leon Draisaitl would show emotion. It looked like they were ready to come back stronger. But this time, something changed. According to NHL insider Elliotte Friedman, the reaction inside the Oilers locker room was not anger. It was silence. The players didn't look furious. They didn't look shocked. They looked calm, almost like they already knew this was coming. And that is what scared people the most. Friedman explained that instead of playing like a top team, the Oilers looked average this season. That's a huge problem when you have the best player in the world on your team. Connor McDavid is supposed to lead a championship roster, but this year, the team around him just didn't match that level. One of the biggest issues was defense. The Oilers struggled to stop opponents in key moments. They gave up chances too easily, and in the playoffs, that always costs you games. Then there was goaltending. It was inconsistent. Some nights were good, but other nights just weren't enough to win at a high level. When you combine weak defense and shaky goaltending, even a superstar like McDavid can't carry the team. And deep down, the players seemed to know it. That's why the reaction looked so different. It wasn't anger because there was nothing to be surprised about. It was more like acceptance. Acceptance that the team just wasn't good enough. That doesn't mean everything is okay, because time is running out. McDavid has about 2 years left on his deal, and that changes everything for the organization. The Oilers don't have unlimited time anymore. They must act fast. They must build a team that can win now, not later. And that's where the pressure becomes very real. After the playoff exit, reports say the team will not panic and trade their superstar. Instead, they are expected to look inside and fix what's broken. This means big talks are coming. Tough conversations. The kind that can change a locker room. Management will start asking serious questions. Is the defense strong enough? Is the goaltending reliable? Are the right players around McDavid? Because if the answer is no, changes are coming. Some players may not fit anymore. Some roles may need to change. And the front office has to make smart decisions very quickly. They cannot waste another season like this. And then there's something even more important. McDavid's mindset. After this loss, he didn't show anger. He didn't call anyone out. He stayed calm. But sometimes, silence can say more than words. It can mean frustration is building quietly. Fans are starting to notice this. They're asking, how long will he stay patient? How long will he trust the process? Because every year without a championship adds more pressure, not just on the team, but on McDavid's legacy. He is one of the greatest players in the world, but in sports, winning matters. And right now, that success is missing. That's why this moment is so important. The Oilers are standing at a turning point. They can either fix the problems and give McDavid a real chance to win, or risk losing control of the situation in the future. For now, the plan is clear. Rest the players, reset the mindset, make changes, come back stronger. But here's the big question no one can answer yet. Will those changes be enough? Because if the same problems continue, if the team still falls short, then this quiet reaction we just saw might turn into something much bigger. And next time, it might not be silence.
They announced the nominees for the Ted Lindsay Award, and your nominees are Macklin Celebrini of the San Jose Sharks. You can see the numbers there for Celebrini. What a year that young man had. Almost pushed the Sharks into the playoffs. Nikita Kucherov, he is a two-time Ted Lindsay Award winner, and he is nominated once again. And then, of course, Connor McDavid, a four-time Lindsay Award winner.
Something inside the NHL just flipped overnight, and fans did not see it coming. A list was released, but one name on it changed everything. Two of the biggest stars in hockey were expected. The third name shocked players across the league. This was not a media vote. This came from the players themselves, and what they decided is now raising serious attention across the sport. The announcement came from the Ted Lindsay Award, one of the most respected honors in hockey. This award is not chosen by reporters or analysts. It is voted by NHL players. These are the same players who compete on the ice every game. Their vote reflects direct experience against opponents during the season. The finalists were officially confirmed as Connor McDavid, Nikita Kucherov, and Macklin Celebrini. This list was reported by Reuters as a star-studded trio. The first two names followed expected patterns based on performance. The third name changed the discussion immediately. Connor McDavid's selection came after another strong season. He remained one of the top point producers in the league. His role in the Edmonton Oilers offense continued to be central. He led plays, controlled puck movement, and contributed heavily to scoring chances. McDavid has already won this award multiple times in past seasons. His inclusion matched his consistent performance record. Nikita Kucherov also secured his place based on measurable output. He ranked among the top scorers during the season. His performance included goals and assists across multiple game situations. He contributed strongly on the power play and during even strength play. Kucherov's presence on the list reflected his steady offensive production. The focus quickly shifted to the third finalist. Macklin Celebrini's inclusion introduced a different type of player into the same category. He is at an early stage in his NHL career. Despite that, his performance this season placed him in direct comparison with experienced players. His ice time, scoring contribution, and consistency across games supported his position among finalists. The reaction to this finalist list focused on how the voting reflects direct competition. Players face each other across a full season. They track speed, control, and decision-making in real time. This makes the Ted Lindsay Award different from awards decided by media members. The selection shows which players stand out during actual gameplay situations, and that distinction remains central after the announcement. Connor McDavid's performance continued to follow a consistent pattern. He remained among league leaders in assists and total points. His ability to control puck movement and create scoring opportunities stayed constant across games. His ice time remained high, and he played a central role in offensive sequences for the Edmonton Oilers. These measurable factors supported his position among finalists without deviation. Nikita Kucherov's season also aligned with statistical output. He maintained a high scoring rate and contributed across multiple game situations. His role in Tampa Bay's offense remained stable. He produced both goals